Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. So today is going to be a little bit of a different video. Argosy asked me to do an updated version of my experience at Argosy so far, and the classes I've taken, and how I feel about the school in general. So my first vlog, I did a video about being accepted into Argosy. And I talked about it being year-round, and so I go to school year-round. So I graduate in 3 years. Um, so for Argosy, obviously you go year-round. So what happens is you take a 5-week course that's super intense, and then you have 3 weeks off. And then you take another 5-week course that's super intense, and then you have 3 weeks off. So each 3-week break is our summer. So instead of going to school for 9 months and then having 3 months off, we have 5 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 3 weeks. And so it provides a little bit more flexibility in regards to working, traveling, doing what needs to be done outside of school. And you can also take your classes online. So, for example, I'm going to Italy in July. So during that course, I'm going to have to take the course online and not have any FaceTime with the professor. Well, I will have some FaceTime, about 3 weeks of FaceTime as opposed to 5 weeks. But I can still do the work online without having to be in the classroom. So it's a little bit different. I remember I was talking to my best friend. I was like, yeah, I was accepted into Argosy University. I really like it, so I'm gonna go there. And she was like, why would you want to go to school year-round? And I was like, well, it's a great opportunity. It'll help with work, so I'm not like overloaded with a bunch of classes and then trying to work like 20 or 30 hours at Lowe's. That's a little like intense. My best friend makes it work. She has classes a lot and she still works a lot, but not every job is flexible in that regard. So some jobs are very like strict, like, okay, you have to be at work at this time and you have to leave by this time. This is the hours you're paid. Make it work. So in that regard, some jobs are very strict. So it's nice to have Argosy when you go to classes once a week for 3 hours, and then that's it. The rest of the time is your time to figure out the homework. So I go to class 3 hours a week, but I spend about probably 10, 12 hours doing homework outside of the classroom. So whether that be through discussion, writing papers, editing my papers, etc., to try to make up for the lack of time I'm in the classroom. Because it's only 3 hours a week, in a traditional school it'd probably be closer to like 9 hours a week at a university, approximately, in a classroom. And for Argosy it's only 3, so the rest of the time I have to make up that time that I'm not in the classroom, and there's not that FaceTime. It is different because someone actually recruited me to Argosy, and he was like, would you like to go to school online, completely online? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I have never done an online class to the intensity I am now, and I was like, I'm not used to that. I like the FaceTime. And he was like, well, there's something called a blended program, which is what I'm doing now. 3 hours of FaceTime a week, and the rest is online. And for me, the blended program has worked really well because, like, I'm used to traditional school, like traditional university. You go for 9 months, have all this FaceTime, and then you have a 3-month summer. So it's like a nice in between to have a blended program where it's FaceTime and online, so it's not so drastic. Because when he told me it's just online, I was like, no, like, is there a campus I can go to in Denver? And he was like, yes. So for me, the blended program has been the best. However, some Argosy students choose to do completely online. So maybe you have 2 full-time jobs, maybe you have 4 part-time jobs or 3 part-time jobs, even like 2 part-time jobs. For me, I was able to keep a full-time job and go to Argosy. I was a little overwhelmed, so I did cut down my hours, but I could do it. But I think once you get up to like 3 part-time jobs and it's over that 40-hour work week, that's when I'd say maybe fully online. But if you're not doing that, I would suggest the blended program, because that FaceTime for me is so important. Like, there was one class I went to at Argosy. I've taken multiple classes, but one of the class times I showed up on Tuesday and he was like, here's this matrix on hybrid versus electric cars. And he like did the entire table. And I was like, wow, he basically did my project for me. He like laid out the entire hybrid matrix for this car, and like it basically, he did my assignment for me. And if I would have missed that class, I would have been kicking myself, because that class was so helpful. And you want to make sure you're showing up to classes at Argosy University, because you only get that one time, that once a week. I was talking to my professor, and we were all in the class, and a student was like, hey, what about the kids that are showing up to this class? What are the grades? What grade is the highest grade they can get for not showing up to class? And he was like, oh, I'll give them no higher than a C. And I was like, I can't be getting C's at Argosy. I'm trying to get A's and B's to be a B average student. That's usually where I'm at academically. I would love to say, oh, I want a 4.0. That's totally realistic because I'm that brilliant. Like, no, I'm not a 4.0 student. But B average, especially high B, is where I'm like at usually. So to get a bunch of C's, like, that's not okay. I'm not coming to Argosy to like not do a good job. So definitely, if you're going to come to Argosy and you're interested, definitely put in the work. Like, it's a lot because you don't get a lot of that FaceTime. So the one suggestion I would say is come to class, and like, even if you're tired and not totally there, act like you're engaged. Just try to be as engaged as possible. If you have it in you that day, just try to be as engaged as possible, because that's where you're going to absorb most of your learning, in that face-to-face, once a week atmosphere. And professors notice. It's a small class. So if you are there, professors will notice. If you are not there, professors will notice. So I personally really like Argosy University. For me, it's even more freedom than Loyola University Maryland gave me. They would still ask, why weren't you at class? Like, what's going on? At Argosy, they don't even like ask, which I personally really like. I don't like when a school breathes down my neck and they're like all over me. Like, I would rather just be left alone and just be able to do the work that needs to be done, and then have the help I need, have the available resources I need just in case. So if you are that kind of student, I would definitely suggest Argosy. I think it's a really great university, and I have really loved my experience there. It is not for everyone, but if you are a student, if you sound like me in regards to like, if you're watching this vlog and you were like nodding your head, like, yeah, that's definitely me, Argosy is definitely the university for you, in my opinion. Also, take everything I have with a grain of salt. This is my opinion on Argosy University, but every student has a different experience. So I just wanted to tell you guys that Argosy asked me to make an updated video because they actually saw my vlog about being accepted into Argosy. So I thought that was this is a really unique experience, that they actually saw my vlog and didn't ask me to do a vlog. I just did it on my own. So I think that's really great, and there's mutual benefit of me getting my name out there and Argosy getting their name out there, because it's a third opinion, basically. Like, I'm not Argosy saying Argosy's great. I'm not someone working for Argosy saying Argosy's great. I'm a student. I don't have to love Argosy. I don't have to go to Argosy, but I chose to go to Argosy, and I love Argosy because it's my school. It's my choice now. And I think it's really great to hear from a student that they love their university, not necessarily from an administrator who almost has to say they love it. So hopefully you guys like Argosy just as much as I have and have a good experience at Argosy, and have a great rest of the day. Bye.